Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you are good. So this is going to be a updated 2 years later review or look back at the GoPro Max. I really have enjoyed using this camera for the past few years, and I'm going to take a look back at kind of some of the footage I've shot and just see, well, is it still worth buying now? And as you probably tell from the title, there is a tiny bit of news about a potential sequel coming this year, but I'll get into that at the end of the video. So let's get into it right now. The GoPro Max 2 years later, let's take a look. So I'm going to be showing you a lot of footage from the GoPro Max as I just talk about what it's been like, what it's still like, if it's still worth buying, and what you can do with it. So the one thing I will mention is that in some of the footage you may notice this little blurry spot. Now that is because, unfortunately, about I think 6 months ago or something, I was filming with a camera and I dropped it. Well, I think it was on a tripod and some wind blew it over, and it's got a tiny little scratch on one of the lenses. Now that kind of does ruin a bit of the shot, but most of the stuff I've shot in the past 2 years, it doesn't have that, but it is a weakness of all these cameras. The lenses are very vulnerable, and if you do scratch them, it is gonna kind of affect the overall look. So the GoPro Max can shoot 5.6K 360 video at 30 frames per second. It can shoot 3K 360 video at 60 frames per second, and it also has what's known as the hero mode, which uses just one of the lenses, and it can shoot 1440p at 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second. It can also shoot 360 photos, a mode called Power Pano, as well as just normal photos using one of the lenses. You can also shoot time-lapse videos and moving time-lapse videos, which GoPro calls time warp. So this camera, I think, was quite far ahead of its time when it came out a couple of years ago. I was really impressed with the hardware. I think the color technology and the lens technology was definitely ahead of the competition at the time. And to be honest, I still think it stands up. I think in the right lighting conditions, the Max can shoot some really awesome 360 video. Now you compare it to videos shot with like the GoPro Hero 10 and even 9, it's not going to be as good because those pixels have to be spread around a 360-degree field of view, whereas a normal GoPro can condense all of those pixels in a much smaller space. But what you get in return is awesome stabilization, the full ability to control where your camera is pointing at any one time, shoot first, point later, and all of that is still relevant today. And to be honest, I would say the Max is probably the second or third best 360 camera out right now still, just in terms of hardware and what the actual video looks like. If you attach this camera to a selfie stick, any kind of GoPro mount, you can put it on a surfboard, use it while skiing, paragliding, whatever. There are so many things that GoPro has obviously shown us what this thing can do, and the stabilization is perfect. That is a thing with most 360 cameras, but particularly GoPro and Insta360 cameras are amazing if you want to do any kind of action stuff. Now, I mean, I show you some very basic stuff here, just running around, jumping around on top of stuff, but imagine that with a camera on a smartphone or even a normal GoPro, it would be super shaky. But this is extremely smooth, and any kind of movement is going to be still smooth enough that you can watch it back and not feel nauseous. So the 360 mode I still think is amazing. It still can create some really awesome footage with that mode. Now this kind of video I'm showing you here is 360 video, but it's reframed. So it's 360 and I've edited it into a normal non-360 video with some program, with Premiere Pro or with the phone app, and this is what you get. But obviously you can also use the Max to shoot virtual reality video you can watch back on a VR headset, and I used this camera a lot for that. On my YouTube channel I've got probably about 10 now VR videos from around the world, and most of them were shot with the GoPro Max because of that high quality. So when watched back on a virtual reality headset, it's not perfect, it's still a little bit blurred. That is the limitations of these cameras and the headsets right now. But for something so small, I've had a lot of compliments about the videos, and people watch them and say it's almost like they're there. Well, you know, it's not almost like they're there, but it's close enough. It does a good enough job for that. So this camera was definitely my top camera for that until I scratched the lens. When it comes to shooting normal video, this camera is also able to do that with the hero mode. The most major update when the camera came out around about a year later was the addition of shooting 1440p video at 60 frames per second using just one of the lenses. Now 60 frames per second allows us either to capture very smooth motion, more realistic to what we would see with our eyes, or you can slow it down. You can shoot in slow motion. I don't particularly use this mode very much because 1440p, I mean, my smartphone camera can shoot 4K. I may as well just, you know, use this. It's in my pocket all the time if I just want to shoot some normal video. But if you are kind of creating a vlog and you wanted to mix the two formats together, 360 and normal video, this camera is a great way to do that. And the video still looks fairly decent. At 1440p, it's going to be more than good enough for TikTok, Instagram, or all kind of social media. It's only when it's on a big screen that you're going to kind of notice a little bit of a difference. I should also talk about the design. Now, I know I said I broke it. I mean, I scratched the lens. That was my fault. It does come with lens protectors, like I said, but everything else about the camera is very rugged, and I have dropped it more than once, actually. I was just lucky that the other times I didn't smash it on the lens. The coating of the camera is very durable. It's kind of like this hardened rubber with some plastic, but it's very tough. It has this large touch screen here, which enables you to fully control the camera without having to connect it to any app or anything, so you can basically control all the settings here. You can preview stuff. Overall usability is also really, really good. It has 4 microphones, so it's got great audio. It's still got the best audio quality of any 360 camera out right now, even ones that were released fairly recently. So that is all the good stuff about this camera. Built really well. The video, 360 video out of the camera, is still among the best quality you can get right now. It's great for shooting VR video very quickly and easily, and it's 2 cameras in one with a 60 frames per second option. But this is not a perfect camera, far from it. It has its frustrations, which GoPro seem to refuse to fix. And this mostly comes down to software. The hardware, they nailed it. I couldn't ask for anything more. The hardware was great, way ahead of its time. The software, when it was released, was lacking and still remains lacking to this day. Now, when you edit this 360 video, if you want to create the kind of stuff that I've shown you here, you either need Premiere Pro, which is a paid program, it's expensive, or you can use the GoPro app if you want to edit on your phone, if you're out and about and mostly doing it for social media. That's probably what you want to do. The phone app, while it works and it allows you to do this reframing, changing it from 360 to normal video, and it works okay, but the options are really limited compared to what you can do with other cameras. There are basically only like 3 or 4 options, and while it technically works, you can get some good shots, there's so much more you can do with 360 video that it really should have some more automatic features. It really should, or some just automatic effects that 360 videos allow you to create that other cameras can't. The app doesn't have any of that, and it wasn't really ever added in. Now, what it does have is something called the Studio, which is a kind of automatic video creator. It kind of takes all the clips that you've downloaded into your phone, and it will kind of create a little vlog for you. It will add them together. You'll be able to add texts. You can add your own music from the app and stuff like that. So you can create some things on the app pretty quickly, but it's still limited compared to what's possible with other cameras. Probably the most annoying thing about the mobile workflow from this camera, in order to edit anything from the GoPro Max, you need to transfer the files over to your phone. You can't edit them just by connecting them. You have to actually transfer them over, then you can edit them, then you can create these automatic vlogs. Transferring the files takes so long. It took me so long. I've even just tried to transfer, I think about 8 or 9 files. I think it was probably be about 12 minutes worth of footage. Literally an hour and a half later, it still hasn't done. It's still going. So that is a major downside for the GoPro Max, and it is something that really should not continue in the next generation. But you do also have the option, however, of using the free GoPro desktop editor, which works a little bit better. I mean, you can just put your files, you can connect the camera straight to your laptop or desktop and edit the files there. You can do the reframing. It's got all the same options. In fact, I find it a lot easier than using the phone app. So there is a free option there. However, that did come pretty late. It took them about a year and a bit to release that after the camera. So for a long time, the option wasn't there. Again, it's still fairly basic, but it does the job. So that is pretty much the GoPro Max. This is probably the last time I'm going to use it, to be honest, because there are so many others out and I have so many others to use. I'm not going to, you know, and I've kind of scratched it. So yeah, RIP to the Max, but it was a great camera for a long time, and despite its issues, it wasn't the most user-friendly to use, the software was lacking, but the hardware was and still remains great. Should you buy it today? If you can find it, actually I'm not sure how much it is. If it's cheaper than what it was when it came out, then yes. It's still worth buying for the good hardware, depending on what you want to do with it. I will also mention that the GoPro Max is the only camera, 360 camera that I know that is fully waterproof and won't break. I've never heard an issue with the GoPro Max breaking while underwater. I think the maximum limit is 5 meters, whereas other waterproof cameras that claim to be waterproof I've seen a lot of people damage them. So wouldn't trust the other cameras, but I would trust this underwater. So I mentioned in the title and at the start of this video that there was some news about a potential sequel. Now this is very preliminary. This is very preliminary. Basically, GoPro had their yearly earnings call. They had their kind of telling everyone how well they did in the past year and what their plan is for the next year. And they did just mention, basically in a part of it, I mean, I'll show you on the screen, but basically what they said is that in the future, this year, they're gonna plan to have 4 distinct models. That's 4 distinct types of camera. And they mention that at the moment they have the Hero range and the Max range. So they're gonna add 2 more to that and hopefully have 4 distinct models this year. Now that implies they're gonna continue supporting 360 cameras and the Max brand in some way, and because it's been over 2 years, I can't see them continuing to say that this is gonna be the 360 camera that is part of those 4 distinct models. I think it's a fairly good indication that by the end of the year we should have another Max camera. Whether they call it the Max 2, I don't know what they'll call it, but it seems like a pretty good bet. So just thinking about what it could be, what the specs or what a future Max model could be. Now when people talk about the next generation of these kind of cameras, people are saying, oh, it should be high resolution, 8K, and that's basically what comes into most people's heads when I see them talking about it, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Even though it's been 2 years, I still think a resolution of between 5 and 6K is the only realistic thing we can expect, and that is because anything above that, it's going to be impossible to edit, especially on a phone. Even the most powerful phones would really struggle to edit 8K footage, and only really the more powerful laptops and desktops are going to be able to do that. So it wouldn't be user-friendly for the majority of people, so they're not going to limit themselves in that way. Yes, that does mean that resolution is still going to be slightly on the low side, or sharpness, and I think that's just something we have to put up with these kinds of cameras. The playoff is that we get way more control and way more creative, but the quality is just never going to be as good. What I can say might happen is improvement in lens size, lens technology, well, sensor size. If the sensors are a little bit bigger, that means the quality is going to shoot up by quite a lot, especially in lower light conditions. And we also may see a frame rate boost. I think what's more realistic is being able to shoot 5.7K at 60 frames per second. I think that would be amazing. If that happens, then I would be buying it instantly. No other one can do it right now, as that I know of. I don't think so. So that's what I think a future GoPro Max 2 is likely to look like, but I don't know. I actually have no idea about it, so we'll see. Let me know what you thought or think about the Max, whether you still think it's a great camera, do you still use it? But yeah, guys, until next time, I will see you around. Bye.